Hey, hi, how's it going? We are working in the front garden a little bit today. It's, I swear, just a little bit past the 4th of July. It's not like a whole week past the 4th of July, but we're going to take the buntings down today, and then we're going to be removing some things on the front of the house and off the side of the house today, which is kind of crazy. But we have something exciting happening, and so the lattices have to come down today. So Brent is grabbing a step stool and he's grabbing the snips for us, but it was fun. This is the first year we've ever had buntings up, and I don't know, it just felt kind of fun to have them up for the holidays. And then we're gonna take down these lattice today. Look how many bugs there are. It doesn't help that there's a light right there, but it just feels so buggy up here and cobwebby with the lattices. They've been fun, they've been pretty, but it just needs to come down. Also, we are going to be removing the wisteria. These things are happening around the house that we can't have things attached to the house right now. Wisteria, unfortunately, does need to come out. And then also, if we come over here into the side yard, we are going to take down the clematis. So it's been a super mild spring introduction to summer. It's been very, very mild, which has been very pleasant. This is Clematis armandii, and it's on the exact same type of lattice. We gotta hack it down here, and then we've got to dispose of all of this. But this thing has yet to really burn. It's like scorching a little bit. We've had some like somewhat warmish days, so that's been kind of crazy that this thing hasn't fully burned. But we do have days on the forecast that are going to hit 109 degrees, and like there's multiple days at like 109 degrees. So once that happens, this thing is just going to scorch and fry and cook and burn and die. So unfortunately, we do need to take it down. When we planted this here, this was a shade location, and so it did pretty well here. And then we had our tree removed, and now it is a full sun location. And this is a evergreen clematis, and this clematis can handle some sun. It just can't handle our hot afternoon sun. And this gets hit like by the time it's 109 degrees, this is getting full sun. And so this can handle like full morning sun, or it could handle like maybe some of like the like late evening sun when it's like started to cool down a little bit. But this gets sun from probably about 1 o'clock until the very end of the day. And so this is just too much sun for this. I also don't unfortunately have anywhere for this to go. So this does need to just get disposed of. And then as far as the wisteria goes, I would love to keep it. I'm just not sure where it would go. The places that I was thinking it could go would eventually possibly cause issues for neighbors and things like that. Wisteria doesn't do what it does for most people in the United States here where we live. It's not one that like self-seeds and like explodes everywhere. You don't just like see it climbing up telephone poles and taking over buildings and things like that. It grows quickly, but it's not nearly as invasive. I don't even know if it's invasive here, but it's not one like I've got a neighbor who's got one across the way, and then I've got another neighbor who's got one around the block, and theirs are not gargantuan, and you do not see them popping up anywhere at all. So I don't really know what it is, but wisteria doesn't get psychotic here. You ready to start taking everything down?
No.
Look how big those petunias are. That's crazy. They look huge back here. Well, that is a very, very weird sight. I mean, we added the lattice because it needed something here, because it was just so, I don't know, blank. It was a very large blank wall, and the lattice gave like some impact, and it looked pretty, and it was nice. And now the lattice is not here. Anyways, it's fine, I guess. It is what it is. I did patch the holes from the lattice trellis thing, and then we're gonna wait for that to dry, and then we'll sand it down, and then we will go ahead and touch up with paint, so that way it was like it was never there. So while we wait for that to dry, we're gonna go take down the other lattice in the side yard, which is the most heartbreaking one because it's so magical when you're in the kitchen. It looks out and it's like covered in clematis through the window, so you look through the clematis. It's really, really magical, and it's nice because like our neighbor's kitchen looks like into our kitchen. I think like our sinks like kind of look at each other almost, and so it was nice because like I feel like it gave them privacy when we were in our kitchen, it gave us privacy when we were in our kitchen, and so it was just good all the way around. But it's just too hot over there for the clematis. And just for a point of reference, we are looking north right now. So this is north, east, south, west, and so the sun is setting over in the west, so that's why this gets cooked with that hot afternoon sun, and it's not going to be able to handle it. We've been below 90 degrees until recently, and once we hit 90 degrees is when we started to see the crispiness happen on this and the burn happen. And so like any new shoots, that's what's going to happen with these days that are 100 degrees, and then eventually all of this will do exactly what that's doing up there. Can you see the window? So you could just like see through it, but you couldn't actually see the window, so it was very magical. It was really, really nice. And then just to kind of give you guys a little fact about this plant. So this is Clematis armandii, and then there's also Sweet Autumn Clematis, and they both look extremely similar. They look exactly alike. The Sweet Autumn Clematis blooms in the like late summer through fall, so like autumn time. And then this one blooms very early in the springtime. It's like one of the first things to bloom. They both have beautiful smell to them. This one does bloom on old wood. I know both of them, it's just best to like be able to plant them, let them do their thing. So I'm guessing that the other one also blooms on old wood, meaning that whatever growth happens this year is where next year's blooms are going to be. So if you need to do any cutting back on it, you want to cut this one back immediately after it's done blooming. This one is, I believe, zones 7 and above. The other one is zones 4 through, I think, 9. So you can kind of get the same look with two different clematises. So higher zones, I would grow this one, give it afternoon shade, grow armandii. If you're in lower zones, you can grow a Sweet Autumn Clematis, or even if you're up to a zone like 9-ish, you can grow the Sweet Autumn, and then that will give you blooms continuously. It would actually kind of be really pretty to grow both of them together, because then you would get a spring show and you would get a fall show out of bloom, but you would have to just let them do whatever they're going to do, like kind of compete with each other, but have two plants planted at the base. That's something to think about. Interesting. Anyways, let's get this one cut back now. Heartbreak. That looks so sad and so empty. I hate it. Oh, she even hates it. She's got the itches. Well, it's a blank wall though. It's a very blank wall. So I guess that's that. And it lets so much light in the kitchen. It feels honestly a little too bright in the kitchen, which is kind of weird. It's not like a good bright. It's just like a bright. Anyways, yeah. There's our blank wall. It's a little shocking. It's very stark and very bright. It had to happen. I love the trellises. I will be reusing the trellises. They're just going to be used for a different project, which is why they also had to come down. Anyways, yeah, it's sad that the trellises are down. It just looks pathetic. Well, it is the very end of the day, and we are going to, I think, end the day with something really exciting and something that I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for, and something that I've been waiting for. I have been collecting and collecting and collecting and cleaning and cleaning and cleaning Pink Petticoat Columbine seeds. So I have 500 Columbine seeds. These are the Visit Our Garden Pink Petticoat Columbine seeds. 500 of them. So many this year. Last year we did, I think, 100 of them. And this year we decided to do so many more. Last year when I gave these away, I gave away about 100 of them. And we just asked you to fill out a form and we mailed them out. We paid for the shipping, we paid for the envelope, paid for the seed packets, we paid for everything, and it was so much fun to be able to mail out seed packets. This year we're doing it different because I want to be able to send out all 500 of these packets. So these are the Pink Petticoat Columbine. Let's talk about them for a second. Let me grab a seat. Okay, we're in the greenhouse. That way it's a little bit nicer and I can sit down. So the Pink Petticoat Columbine seeds, like I said, they bloomed in my garden. I've had them in my garden for, I think, 4 or 5 years now. And I started them from seed, and they've been a showstopper every single spring. Columbine is very quickly become one of my favorite flowers, especially a spring blooming flower. They're just so beautiful and so cottagey. So I've heard a lot of you guys say that you have a hard time getting the seeds, or that the seeds can be kind of expensive. So what I have done is for about 2 months, every time a seed head was finished blooming, I would come out and I would collect the seeds. And I had a huge jar full of Columbine seeds and slowly cleaned them, slowly collected them. Each one of these seed packets is going to have anywhere from about 20 to, some of them have like 90 seeds. Some of them I was a little heavy-handed on, but I think most of them have at least 20 seeds, and that's a very low estimate. This packet right here, which does not look like much, has 41 seeds in it. So it doesn't look like a whole lot, but 41 Columbine plants is a ton. And some of them have more, some of them have less, but I would say you're probably going to be getting at least 20 seeds. So these are the Columbine from our garden, and it feels really cool to be able to share these with you. So if you are wanting Columbine for your garden and you're wanting some seeds, I'm going to ask a couple things. I am going to ask that if last year you got seeds and you successfully grew Columbine, I'm going to ask that maybe you hold off a little bit on getting some of these seeds, so that way the people who did not get them last year can get seeds. Last year we had about 400 people who were interested in getting the Columbine seeds, and so this year we would like to try to get as many people the seeds we're expecting, but there's probably going to be more than 400 people who want the Columbine seeds. So if you would like Columbine seeds for your garden from my garden, then please send a self-addressed envelope to our P.O. Box. It is P.O. Box 393, Los Molinos, California. Zip code is 96055. So fill out an envelope, put in a self-addressed envelope, and please put the return address on that also, so that way it does come back to our post office box, because I don't want to handwrite the return address on them. Our post office box lady is very, very particular, and she has very strict rules and she follows them to a T. So please make sure that it is self-addressed and self-stamped. It needs to have a stamp on it also. If it doesn't have a stamp, we're not putting seeds in it. We're not putting stamps on envelopes this year. And I would also like to say, if you are interested in it, you need to do this sooner rather than later, because once these seeds are gone, that is it. And so if you are number 501 and you still sent out an envelope, you will not be getting seeds, and I am sorry about that. There are no more seeds left after these 500. So send it out soon, send it out as quick as possible, so that way you can get your seeds. We will be immediately, the second that we start getting envelopes, we will start stuffing envelopes with seed packets and get you guys your seeds. Yeah, so if you want seeds, mail us a self-addressed envelope with our return address on it and with a stamp on it, and we will get you seeds. But like I said, there is always a chance that we run out and that you send an envelope. So sending an envelope that is self-addressed does not guarantee that you will get seeds. But like I said, we've got 500 of them, so I'm hoping that all 500 do get used, and I'm hoping that we can get as many people seeds as possible. So I think this is also where we're going to end the video for the day. It's a really nice, cool, breezy evening, and Brent and I made chicken pasta salad, and so we're gonna enjoy some pasta salad outside on the patio tonight. So thank you so much for visiting our garden. I know it was a little bit of a shocking moment taking down the Lattice and the Wisteria and the Clematis armandii. I cannot wait for you guys to see what we have planned. It's going to be so good. So make sure that you hit that like and that subscribe button. Not sure why you haven't already. It's free. Thank you so much for visiting our garden. We'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.